Good morning. Welcome again to Morning Devotions, and thank you so much for our time together. Today, the Saturday night service and all day tomorrow in the Sunday services, I'm going to be preaching to you not so much as a year ender, but a year beginner for 2014. I want to begin to talk to you about the focus of your attention, the focus of your eyes. What are you going to see in 2014? What are you going to focus your attention on? We'll have a great time together. I want to talk to you today about an ending. I love the book of Genesis because it's a book of the beginnings, and you can begin to study how things were intended at the beginning. You see the beginning of business, and the beginning of commerce, and the beginning of money, and the beginning of negotiations, the beginning of sin. You see all the beginnings. I like the book of Revelation because you get to see some of the greatest endings. And forgive me, maybe the greatest ending of all is to watch the one who has made our life difficult since the day we were born, to watch Satan's ending. It starts in Revelation chapter 20, beginning with verse 1. And I saw an angel coming down out of the heaven, having the keys to the abyss, and holding in his hand a great chain. He seized the dragon, that ancient serpent, who is the devil or Satan, and bound him for 1,000 years. He threw him into the abyss and locked and sealed it over him to keep him from deceiving the nations any more until the 1,000 years were ended. After that, he must be set free for a short time. Now we get down to verse 7. When the 1,000 years are over, Satan will be released from his prison and will go out to deceive the nations in the four corners of the earth, Gog and Magog, to gather them for battle. In number they are like the sand of the seashore. They marched across the breadth of the earth and surrounded the camp of God's people, Jerusalem, the city he loves. But fire came down from heaven and devoured them, and the devil who deceived them was thrown into the lake of burning fire, where the beast and the false prophet had been thrown, and they will be tormented day and night forever and ever. Now there's several things I want you to notice there. First of all, when it came time for Satan to be stopped, God didn't have to send Gabriel. God didn't have to send a great archangel. God did not even, the Bible says, send a seraphim. He just sent an angel, an unranked angel. You see, when it's time for something to happen, it's not a question of power. It's a question of authority. We always think the devil is so powerful, but forgive me, authority triumphs over power. God sends an unranked angel with a chain in his hand. He binds him and puts him in the bottomless pit for 1,000 years for the purpose to stop deception. Then he's released. He's again allowed to deceive the nations. People again have to make their decision. Do they choose to follow Christ, or do they follow him because they have no choice? Everyone has a free will. And then Satan is put into the lake of burning sulfur, where he will be tormented forever. The tormentor is tormented. There's two things I just want you to see there. First of all, I want you to see that Satan doesn't get away with everything he's been doing. He reaps what he sows, good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. Secondly, I want you to see that it's never a question of power versus power. It's a question of authority. An unranked angel, under orders of God, can bind him and put him in a pit for 1,000 years. And thirdly, I want you to see that Satan is real. There are people today that would want us to believe that hell isn't real and Satan isn't real and that God doesn't bring judgment on anybody. But he does. Satan reaps what he sows. So as you look at the end of the story, smile a little bit and realize he's not all that big of a deal. Just an unranked angel. Not Michael, not Gabriel, not an archangel, not a seraphim, not one of the four elders. It's just an angel comes, puts him, binds him, puts him in a pit for 1,000 years. And then later, when it's time for him to be cast into the lake of fire, he's just cast into the lake of fire. And there he's reaped the torment that he has sowed forever and ever. The end for the devil.